name is Miranda, and today I am here to review the new book Stain by A.G. Howard. I always want to say A.J., but it's A.G. And I said A.J. No, I said A.G. Okay, we got this. This is, of course, the latest book by A.J. Howard. Like I said, she has written the Splintered series, which is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland. She wrote Roseblood, which is a retelling of Phantom of the Opera that I didn't really love. And now she has Stain, which is a vague-ish, I would say, retelling of Princess and the Pea. It's definitely a retelling of Princess and the Pea. I'm just saying that it's vague-ish. Like, it's not full-on Princess and the Pea, but that's like inspiration for it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. First of all, I think what really drew me into this book and what draws me into every single A.J. Howard book is the cover. The cover is freaking gorgeous. It's the main character on the cover. Her name is Lyra. She's a princess. It's set in this world where there are two neighboring kingdoms. One is a light kingdom and one is a dark kingdom. So one the moon never touches and one the sun never touches. And these kingdoms are kind of both cursed now, like they're falling into disarray because obviously like you need both light and dark. You can't just survive on one of them alone. So the Light Kingdom, which is the one that Princess Lyra comes from, everyone there is like super golden and tan and fantabulous, you know, just like Californians. But she is born looking like the girl on the cover, of course. She's born looking basically like she was born in the Moon Kingdom, so she has super pale skin, she has really, really long eyelashes that are super white, her hair's all silver, she cries purple tears, and the biggest thing about her is she can't talk aside from her song. So she can sing, she can like, you know, laugh and make noises, but she can't actually physically talk. So as with any fairy tale, her mother died in childbirth. What a surprise. And it's just her dad, the king, and her wicked aunt named Griselda. And I feel like, you know, if you didn't think the aunt was bad, her name's Griselda, so work on that. Well, where the main story takes off is after her aunt has become like regnant. Is that the word that like when you're in charge of the kid because the kid's not old enough to leave yet? Aunt hates her and just hates her guts and wants one of her 3 daughters to lead instead, like in her place, because then, you know, like she obviously has better control over her 3 daughters than she does Lyra, because Lyra is like, you a biatch, I ain't doing what you say you want. She concocts this whole plan to kill Lyra and put an imposter princess on the throne instead. But the big thing that like guides this whole story is there's a prophecy between Lyra, who is the princess, and then the prince of the Moon Kingdom, who was born pretty much opposite of Lyra, but similar because he was born looking like he belongs to the Light Kingdom. So he is golden and he's the only one that isn't affected by the sickness that's plaguing the moon people because he has sun like in his veins. So he's doing good, but he also is cursed because he has sunlight literally in his veins, like I said, so it's turning him into like an actual golden statue. So it's just spreading more and more, and basically the prophecy says that Lyra is not only the only one that can save him and stop this curse, but also Lyra and the Prince Vesper are the only two who can unite the realms and bring back the moon and the light to the respective kingdoms that need it. So there's this whole prophecy about them that's like specifically entailed for them, very like physical characteristics and descriptions that fit them entirely. So Lyra's aunt is like, bitch, you thought I'm taking over this prophecy, and just makes this girl look exactly like what Lyra does, and then kicks Lyra out in a coffin. Leaves her for dead basically until she's found and her memories are removed, so she has no memory of who she was before, but she's raised now as a boy in disguise, kind of just like learning the ways of like the forest and kind of like the more like darker parts of the kingdom that she lives in, and she just lives under the guise of this name Stain. She has no previous remembrance of her former life or what part she's supposed to play in this prophecy. So that is basically the summary of the book. That's everything that the book jacket says without spoiling more of it. Overall, I highly, highly enjoyed this book. I think it is most definitely my favorite A.J. Howard book so far. This really was just such a phenomenal book. It's definitely one of my favorites of all time. I just think the way the world was set up was so interesting, and I normally have a hard time with fantasy books because I just find them so dense, you know, like the names are hard to pronounce, there's like worlds and tricks and things you've got to remember, and we can do this but we can't do that magic and stuff like that. And I think there were parts of this that were like overly descriptive at some parts, but it actually worked because I feel like you always knew what the main goal, what the main ending was, and that helped, you know, like it wasn't like we're just off on this side quest to do this side quest. And even when there were moments that kind of felt like that, it would come back to that, and you would realize that that thing that seemed inconsequential at the time actually has a way bigger meaning than you thought it did. And I think that's one of the things I love most about this book, was she pulled off masterfully so many plot twists and so many things, again, that you thought really were just like, whatever, yeah, like I don't need to remember that, or like this is just a weird thing that's not really gonna lead to anywhere. It ended up being like one of the most important things in the story. So I was super impressed with that. And then also the prophecy in general I really like, because you know how like I feel like so many books have prophecies and they're all just kind of like meh, whatever, like the prophecy's kind of trying to, you know, screw them over a lot, I feel like. So this was nice because there was a prophecy that like you had to look not necessarily deeper, but also just like the prophecy itself was gonna make sure it happened. Like no matter who meddled, no matter who got in the way and stuff like that, like the prophecy, they were always like, the prophecy finds a way, which I thought was really, really cool, because it's kind of like, it's not gonna screw you over, it's actually gonna help you. And I was like, what a nice change of pace. I also really, really love the romance. I feel like you can't say too much about it without being spoiled, but obviously like they're prophesized to, you know, be lovers. What's the appropriate word for this? I don't know. I think it was different than a lot of fantasy romances, because it wasn't so much like, it wasn't so much like she was not necessarily like a dainty little princess, you know, that needed saving, but it was very, very strongly focused on the fact that like they were each other's equal and they balanced each other out, not only physically, because you know she's like pale moonlight and he's like dark sun, but emotionally, mentally, like where one was really, when one would be like super tough and super kind of wanting to just do something rash and something crazy, like the other one would be able to pull them back and be like, no, we need to think about this. But then they were also very equal in a way that like they had both gone through some shite that had scarred them and, you know, ruined them in their life growing up, you know, just in general being different and stuff like that, but then also the journeys to get to each other. So I really like that equality and that like equal footing of like, we're both in this together. I see who you are beneath like who you are on the outside, and I love you for it. I see your beauty and you see mine. And it was just really, really cute and sweet, you know? Like I really like them together. Getting into spoiler territory now. That's my spoiler sign. You know how like airplanes are like, park your car this way, park your plane this way. I'm like, spoilers are coming. So the biggest twist in this book, I would say, is the fact that Scorch, the Pegasus, turns out to be the missing part of Vesper all along. And it was really, really cute, because I felt like the more and more I was getting into the book, I was like, wow, Vesper and Lyra are like not meeting at all. Like I don't know how they're gonna rush this romance. It's gonna feel just like insta-love, blah, blah, blah. But then you find out that no, Vesper has been Scorch all along. Like that's a part of Vesper that Stain has fallen in love with, and that's fallen in love with her and has been her best friend, her confidant. And it was really truly nice to see that. I did not see it coming at all. Like I didn't even think like that's what I said about like inconsequential stuff. Like they were like, oh, we sent a part of him away. I was just like, oh, they just put it up in the air somewhere. But no, it was like literally this part became a part that like sought out Lyra, and it was like prophesied, you know, it was fated that they would find each other and she would save him over and over again. It was really good too. Like there were so many times where Lyra was the one saving Vesper, which I really, really liked. Like I said, for the most part it is equal, like they work with each other, but Lyra's the one, and Vesper even says that like she has to put herself in danger over and over again for him if she wants to save him, even as Scorch, even when she doesn't know that he's the prince and everything like that, and she continually does it because that's just the kind of person she is. Like she has such a strong bond to him. Even like the scene where she was kissing him to kind of suck all the, you know, sunlight out of his blood, like that just reminded me so much of Sleeping Beauty, when Sleeping Beauty has to be kissed to be woken up and to have her curse lifted, but now it's giving the girl autonomy, like the boy is there lying helpless. So it was just really nice to see a flip in that. And just Stain in general, I loved her character. I think she was so strong and so badass, and her and Vesper, again, like I said, balance each other out so well. There was never like a, they got along all the freaking time. Like they were understanding each other's needs. They weren't ever angry at each other, like when Vesper went out and killed the dude that had dumped Lyra in the coffin when she was a kid. Like she was just, she understood the vengeance. And I really liked also the fact of like how they talked about vengeance, how it was never overwrought with it. It was always what you did is what you get. So like how the guy that dumped her in a coffin with brambles and scorpions, his death was to be caught in brambles and just strangled and mangled to death, you know? So I really always liked how they did that. I just liked that there was a big emphasis on like, you don't take more than you give. Like that, it was all about equality, like their relationship, the way they ruled, everything like that. And I just really, really loved it. And there were also really cute parental relationships with like her and Luce and her and Crony. And I love the message of like how your scars can make you even more beautiful, because at the end of the day, like, that's really what, like, when their whole transformations happened and he like got all his nice glowy skin back and all the like sun and the metal parts of him were punished out, like they made sure to mention that the scars are still there and they're going to be a reminder of like what he went through. And the exact same thing with Lyra, like she got her hair back, she got her violet tears back, which was such a cool scene when they added in like how she figured out the hairbrush was going to give her hair back and the little clip was going to give her tears back. Like that was another really cool moment. But as much like she grew back into that beautiful princess, but she still had all her scars. And that was like them being like, this is what we've gone through, we've earned these, and I'm not going to be ashamed of them because it means I survived and I lived and helped people. So I really, really like that. And then also like the characters were just awesome. Like I said, Luce was so funny. I also loved Vesper's sister, Selena, because I feel like she was given a lot more to do than normally like the sister does in fantasy novels. You know, like she was very strong in her own right. She had her own little cute romance that was never shunned or anything like that. Like there was no like, you can't marry him because he's a knight and you're a princess. Like everyone was just like, you go for it, girl. You guys are so cute and love each other. And then she actually ended up being her knight, what'd they call it? Her nitress, you know? She ended up being Lyra's like first-hand girl. So I really, really love that. And I just think overall it hits so many marks for me, this book, that it's gonna stick with me for a long time. Like I really, really loved it. And I so want to go back and read it now that you know like all the plot twists. Like there were so many times I'm like reading it, then a plot twist would happen. I'd be like, oh, so that's what that means. And then I have to like flip back and read like this whole section over again because now you know the other things. So it's just really, really awesome, guys. I love it so much. So if you have read this book or are planning on reading this book, please feel free to leave your thoughts about it down below in the comments. Also make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!